Lin Temple Boxing is the most powerful weapon-based martial art. Lee Wong is a master of this and decided to journey around the country to polish his techniques. This would turn out bad, as the Lin Temple was attacked shortly after. Oh man, not the Lin. The entire thing was laid to ruin by the Dragon God. The secret scrolls were stolen, and all of the children were abducted. So, Mr. Wong cuts his vacation short and returns for the fight of his life. And that, my friends, is Tiger Road, and this is the TurboGrafx translation of the 1987 Capcom arcade game. I often get requests, and this was one of them, by an online friend who said he heard, quote, Tiger Road was one of the most difficult games to beat. I smell a challenge. Well, he's right. It is a tad tricky, mostly because of the game itself, which has some very distinct flaws. There are two ways to beat Tiger Road. Using the battery backup pretty much awards you unlimited continues, although I don't think the designers meant for this to happen. It's definitely a glitch. Defeating Tiger Road using no backup and within its default 3 continues, now that is the true test. There are 5 stages in Tiger Road, mostly side-scrolling with some multi-directional flying. There are a lot of the Dragon God's evil henchmen around. Longsword Man, Spear Man, Boxing Man, Zombie Man, Balloon Man, Armor Man, and Ninja. Not Ninja Man, just Ninja. Oh, and of course the flying enemies and bats are, as usual, a giant pain, just to keep up their reputation. The game also has some frustrating jumps. You know, the kind where you can't always see what is below and end up killing yourself? Yeah, you know those. Wong uses weapons found inside boxes, including the sickle, which is a must for most stages. The Morning Star, which is decent but can hinder you later on, and the sword, although it seems more like a bat to me. I never cared for it much anyway. Now these weapons slightly upgrade after training modes, which you play at the end of each stage. After the second training mode, you will be awarded a pretty powerful mystical tiger attack. Interestingly, the type of weapon you possess while using the tiger attack dictates how fast it actually works. This adds some strategy, as possessing the Morning Star really slows down how quickly the tiger attack shoots out. It will get you killed. You really need the axe or sword for maximum benefit, and for getting through some tricky parts. Upgrading your tiger weapon to maximum by defeating training modes and collecting a fast weapon is required. Wong can also find power-ups, points, energy bar increase and reduction pills, and the occasional 1-up. The constant knockback you receive after hitting an enemy is another frustrating problem. You will get knocked around a lot. The enemies are relentless, often respawning, and you can't control yourself after this happens. Well, hello there, Pit. You have to learn the patterns of every enemy because it can get very frustrating. Take your time clearing jumps seriously because... Ugh!
Hey, you guys.
Some of this frustration was present in the arcade version, but the TurboGrafx translation seems more so. The graphics don't look nearly as good either. The characters are all much smaller and everything seems a bit basic. As usual, the colors are great. Everything is passable, but they don't change very much as the game progresses, with often recolored variations of the same thing. The sound is about the same as well, a few steps down from the arcade counterpart. The control, on the other hand, is pretty good. With the right weapon, you will find yourself attacking quickly and having no trouble wailing away on an enemy. The jumping is also extremely responsive, and Wong moves pretty fast. Unfortunately, the flaws in the game itself often make the control seem worse than it really is. The later stages are pretty lengthy, with the final one having a ton of side levels, including 2 sets of end bosses. That is a good thing, but the game's flaw count creates a high frustration level, and you'll often question whether or not you really want to play that long anyway. Here's a frustration example. These end bosses take way too long. Okay, here's the first boss, right? Boring. Alright, here's the second boss. Watch this pattern. Yeah, just sitting there. It takes forever. And guess what? Later in the game, the same bosses return, do pretty much the same thing, they just take longer this time. See what I mean about frustration level? And you all know me, I'm genuinely pretty calm. Oh, come on! Damn it! What the f***? Yeah. Tiger Road starts off a bit interesting and seems to provide a fun side-scrolling action game. But quickly you will find it very frustrating, mostly because of the respawning characters, the bombardment of enemies, getting knocked around a lot, and the often jumping to your death because you can't see where you're going. It all makes an average arcade game below average, and even after defeating it myself the default way, and sending this fact via a screenshot to my friend with a nice nya nya attached, I still found very little fulfillment from it. And that is a shame.